Hi guys, let's start. Okay, so last session where we mainly observed the assignments, the testers. Okay, how we have completed that lead code. Completed. Okay, we'll check at the end. Okay. So before that, so until now, so entire core Java and advanced Java, how we want to optimize that and complexity, everything we completed, right? So this time, this is the time we'll step into the frameworks. Okay, but before going to framework, we have to know few more things as well, like how the structure is going to be. Like this could be like a bit theory, and they will create some structure also. Until now, we completed some console-based application, right? So in those applications, we'll apply this module structure and those things. Okay. So why this Java module system is important? So what is the purpose? So any ideas on that? Why? What is the purpose of the structure? Why they are telling every time structure you create the code structure, a file structure? What is the purpose? What is the benefit we are going to get from that? Readability. Next, maintainability. Then whenever if you want to debug or you want to change anything, that's too easy. So you can not only for that too easy, like this is could be the small project or big project. So how many people is working on that project, based on that it will differ. Like if you are not following some good modules, like everyone should have their unique style, like how they are following their structure. It's not only for these startup companies, these big tech companies, it won't be like that. So like it will be different, and each company have their own style, and someone follows some fintech company also. Like if you want to follow the Google rules, you can follow it. Like whenever if you want to create the API naming, so API is nothing but it's application programming interface. Okay, I hope you guys know that terminology, like that is abbreviation you guys know, but I will explain. We are going to create the REST APIs next upcoming section. We are going to create that using Spring Boot framework. Okay. Before that, we have to know this kind of basic structure. After that, we'll step into the some core concept from the Spring. Then we'll step into the Spring Boot. Okay. So let's see, like here Java module system. What is the purpose? Like we are mainly working on the backend side, right? So what we need to do, whenever if you are creating any new project, it should be proper structure. So major purpose, maintainable the code. Like last time I explained the one thing, right? How the repository pattern was working. That means like our router layer is different. Like mean your client request anything. Whenever that request received to your backend, that layer you have to create separately. Then whenever if you want to add the business logic is nothing but like the client requested one thing. Like a client want to create a new product. So that time you have to receive the request. Then what you have to do with the request, that is called as the business logic. You have to segregate those kind of things. Next you have to go with the database layer. So nothing but you have to put your data into the database, then you have to retrieve back from there. So these are the things we have to do, right? So here the major purpose of these modules and project structure, you guys just to look at it. Okay, so here for example, let me zoom it. Okay, here for example I took as a e-commerce platform, right? So until now what we think practice as a calculator project we did, right? So what you guys do now, so create a like you just optimize your code and folder structure, everything. Go and create a one folder is called as a calculator application. Then below that you create as a source. So SRC is nothing but let me explain. We are all most of the projects start from the source. So if you are using some IDE, by default it will give the entire structure, and we don't worry about that, but we have to aware why they are following this structure. Apart from that, nothing else. Okay. So why this root directory as a source selector? Like whenever if you are importing from the another file, like definitely we are going to get the error. Sometimes can't able to full path. Let assume the current working in your current system. That time if it is working perfectly, then your code going to the production. That means it will run on the some servers. Right. So anyone knows what is meant by server, what is meant by network? So can you just explain what is the server, what is network? What is cloud? What is cloud system? 3 questions. What is a cloud? Then what is the network? Then what is the server? Simple.
Cloud is the service provided to customers or
Okay.
server is where we store the data. Cloud data is stored in the servers.
Okay. What about the network?
Network is connecting to the Internet of Things.
Almost everything everything is correct only. So let me recorrect that. Okay. Here we'll start from the server. Server is nothing but if you are requesting, it will give back some response. Like if you want to store your data, you want to retrieve your data, it's not called matter. So whenever if you want to process any request from the client, you give it to your server. Okay. So now where our server was running? So now server in the sense our entire backend code, right? So it also received some request, it also gives some response, right? That is called as a server we are telling. You can tell some local server. Now just come to the you want to access this server via internet. How can we access? So you have to go to the cloud system, or else you can keep server running in your local system. You can able to give this server to your another people's via internet. So cloud is nothing but, so you are offering your servers like a server kind of services and those things via remote, via internet as a remotely. Okay, there is no need to any physical things you have to keep. There is no need. That thing you take care of by the cloud providers. So there is a major 3 cloud providers: AWS, GCP, and Azure. Okay, those guys will take care of that. Then what is called as a network? Network is nothing but each one or two system have the communication between. Communication between the system is called as a simply network. Okay, right. So let's back to here. Now here it starts from the SRC. So what is meant by SRC? SRC is nothing but a source. So that means whenever if you want to import anything from the other files, you don't need to give the entire path from your local. You can give from the SRC itself. Why? Because that one is considered as one of the module or package in your code. Okay. Now what you guys do, in the meantime, you guys just optimize your code structure in the calculator. Initially we created, right? Now we follow some single responsibility also in there. You just build one basic application in the calculator, addition, sum, everything we did in the single file, right? Now you just optimize as a project structure like this. Everyone have that code, right? Just optimize it, simple. We have to follow some structure, what are the folders we have to create. So this is the example for the e-commerce platform. Now you guys create for your own calculator application, simple. As is the system.
லாஸ்ட் பேஜ் வந்தீங்கன்னா பேர் வரும்.
earlier with the calculator application, right? So everything we did in the single file. So now you just optimize this kind of folder structure. That's it. How many modules are you guys planning? What are the modules should be in your application? So in the calculator application, like what kind of modules was there? So what is mean by modules? Before going further, we'll get some idea from the modules itself. What is mean by modules?
Different sections or services.
Different sections
Or services.
or services. Okay. Let's take some example. Like what are we teaching, right? So how many of you used that application industry file? So in that application, like on the course, if you are open the course, we are going to the module. Like in the top level, it's a course. What is the next level as a modules? What modules will contain the topics? So topic is nothing but as a small unit of the module. Like that is one of the like what is JDK, what is JVM. So this kind of things is the topics. Then what is the module? Like a basic Java, core Java, or let's take a real world example, OOPS concept. This is one of the module. That module will contain the multiple topics. So here, if you are to focus on the project structure in Java, so we have to focus on the module. So how can we segregate the modules? So for e-commerce platform, what is the example here? Like what kind of flow will be in that e-commerce platform? Definitely user will use that, or else next the user going to order that one. So what is the next thing? Payments. So those kind of things they will create. And if you want to some so apart from these models, we have to focus one more thing, that is called as the utils. So what is mean by utils is nothing but what are the things, what are the modules you consider as a common. So it should work for all the places. Like you have to verify the current user, or else you have to do some calculation giving the ranking system. So it's not so specific for the particular user. It was common for the all entire application users, right? So you can put it in the utils folder. No need to create a multiple tab. Those kind of common things you can keep it in the utils. Then apart from that, these modules like a user module. So how can we here I created a folder section of our only one application. Based on this module, like your application grows, like that means your code base got increased. What they will do, they will come to the microservices. So what is the difference between the monolithic and microservices? Because as a backend developing is not only for the creating the code and giving the APIs, we have to understand the most of the things, how the request was receiving, how are we processing the request, how the request correctly receive that server, those kind of things we have to clear idea. Then begin listen how the system was running, what about the database, all things we must have a clear idea. Okay, so here we'll get some idea from that monolithic and microservices. So here I created the multiple modules. Like now let assume my payment module got increased. Like now I am only providing within Telangana. Okay, let's take an example. Within this state only I am providing the service for the payment. Now this payment services bit I want to increase. Like I want to do multiple things in that. Like I want to create the invoice. I want to give the some payment history. I want to give more functionality in that payment to our admin, like a super admin who is the application owner. For them, I have to create one dashboard. I have to create some other things. What we going to do? We can create this one as on separate project itself. So how this project was running? So like my here it's take example e-commerce platform, right? So this is the only one application. Let's take example for Amazon or Flipkart was there. Is they have the only one repository to managing entire code. So what is that one called? If we have the entire code in the only one repository, one code base. What is mean by mono? Mono is single. So that is called as the monolithic structure. Monolithic structure is nothing but your entire application will have the only one code base. Okay. Now why I have to go to the microservices? That is the question. What is the purpose? What is the benefit I am going to get from that one? It's
we can create small modules, like we will work on those modules.
okay.
And we are dividing small units on the project. And
One is the scalability. The next one is the boilerplate things. So boilerplate is nothing but doing the same thing again and again. If you segregated as a payment module as on separate services, not only include that in the e-commerce platform. Now your payment services is isolated. That means whenever whoever requesting from the user, from the client side or machine to machine. So there is a two kind of communication will be happen. One, directly client will request and the server will respond. Right. Another one, machine will request, machine will communicate each other. That is called as a network. Right. So here in microservices, now what I told, our payment service is fully isolated. Initially I created the one e-commerce platform. Okay. Now let's take some example. A company, there is no need to keep in the only one project. They can create a multiple project, multiple application, right? Now they step into the some other industry like called as a training. So they created the one training platform. Let's take our example also. Our industry pilot we have, right? Let me tell how the structure we did. Okay. Our one payment module, we have a separate module, separate code base for that. What is the benefit we are going to get from that? We have more than the 4 to 5 application. So all the application no need to keep the payment module in that each application. Now that is payment module is isolated. Whoever requested, I can process the request, I can give back to the response. So no need to create the payment module in my all the project. It is isolated now. That is one separate project. Payment module is separate project now. Whoever requesting, I can process the request, I can return back the response. Is there any doubt until now? So this is a major purpose between the, this is a major purpose and this is the difference between the monolithic and microservices. These are the advantages we are going to get it from them. So let's take an example. You are building the 3 application. In your 3 application, you need a payment system. Okay, what are you going to do? You definitely create a module as a payment. You have to keep those payment in the 3 applications. Why you have to keep? All the payment system going to do the same things, right? Definitely it have to which provider you want to choose as Stripe or Razorpay or PayPal. Which one you want to choose? You can choose, and you have to pay via that one. Then what is the final flow? Maybe you have to send some invoice. You have to show their history. You have to aggregate how much money they have spent this month, this week, this day. Like that we can segregate. These are the major things. Like we have to do the duplication again and again. So this is the like once your application grows, once you are like a your levels also grows like a basic, advanced, how we become now. So we are now discussing about the core level things, how the structure going to be. This is called as something called as a system design. Okay. So we have a separate session for system design. Our guys will take for that, but I am giving just an overview about that. Okay. So these are the major advantages we are going to get from that. So it start from the normal console dot like a console application. Nothing but before that we just did the hello world program, right? Single world program. After that we did so many console application also, calculator. Then what about we learned about some design patterns. So many things we processed. Now we become to create the one final structure project. So if you went to any fintech company, their structure will be like that only. They have multiple services. Each services have some own responsibilities. Simple. Then you can do the communication. Okay, that communication you have to have the knowledge of some network and all. Okay. So now you guys tell what are the modules I have in our calculator. So modules is nothing but is based on your business domain. Simple. Like based on the logic. Like a payment is one of the domain. Simple. Like that I segregated. Next. Like that, how can I segregate in the calculator application?
Calculations.
Sorry?
Calculation history. Calculations.
Okay.
Calculation history.
Calculation history. Okay.
And if it's a like advanced calculations like log or
Okay. So we can keep like this. One is the basic calculation. In my calculator, I have the 2 or 3 kind of things. One is my basic calculation things. What is the next thing? I am going to some advanced level or else scientific calculator level. So why? Because there is a lot of difference between the normal calculator and the scientific calculator, right? So we can treat as a separate module. What is the benefit we are going to get from that? Until now, your application not grown it. Like you don't need that much code and that much microservice. You don't. But your user base was increased. What you have to do? They will ask the multiple requirements. You have to add that requirement. Then only you can survey in the field, right? So what we have to add, we can directly segregate that entire model to one separate project itself. We can do that. But you mixed up, like if you don't do that, this folder structure, you mixed up all the things like how we are written the, while we are learning, how we are written the single file in all the code. We are doing that. If you want to segregate as a one separate model, that is not at all possible. Okay. So this is the major benefit we are getting from that. So here we have some modules like a user module, then kind of order, payment. This is the app is our main module. Here only the application will run. Okay. So who asked the last time? Like you only asked, right? If you want to create the multiple folder, how my code going to be run? So for normal, until now this is the console application. You have to run like this. You have to give the your module source path. Based on that, it will pick it out. Like you are giving your path as your source, it will start from your source. So other files, what you have to do, you are importing, you are import from the source. No need to import from the entire your code base. Like entire your local structure, your machine name, your user name. Like that structure not needed. You can import from your source. Okay. So is there any doubt until now?
Sir, like you said before, we will create a like a payment service. There's going to be a separate project. How it could be we should to how we are going to manage this payment service.
Okay, fine. Then this is the time to do some real world application. Okay. Take a servicing time. So here, which application I want to
So this is
So I'll just focus on this Explorer only. Okay. So this is my first application. Like what other things you guys using? Industry Pilot. Like the same thing. As a here I took as a training platform as a for common. Okay. So this here only my project will start. I just created the one folder called as a SRC. So that means that is a source. Right. Okay. Next come to the my AA module. Okay. In that industry pilot, I told like we have the chat system. You can ask the question, it will reply back. So I have to create a module for entire AA related things for separately. One thing, right? Fine. Next. So what are the things we are offering in the training platform? Courses. So we created one separate module. This is based on the business domain. How you are segregating your modules. Fine. Next. Definitely the course was there. You have to pay something or some. It will be free courses. So it will be like that. So payment also required. Then I have to handle the user. Like you guys are using. I have to handle you guys, right? So whoever logged in, whoever like if you are sign up next time if you are coming, no need to sign up. You have to sign in. Those kind of user details. Like when you signed, how much AI you are using, what is your what are the places you spend more time. Those kind of things also I have to track. I will take it from the user module. Okay. So no need to go to the next step. That means the next depth. So here maybe our app will be there, the main application. Okay. So it's not going to be. So we'll come to that one later. So this is one application. So this is planned structure. I planned until now. I know the modules I created. Apart from that, nothing else. Right. So let's back to my next application. Okay. So what we told initially. So we have the one more application is called for the jobs. So once you learned from this training industry application, you can use the jobs application. So we are sourcing from multiple sources like some LinkedIn, some other things like an Outreach, Simplify, those kind of platforms. We are getting the jobs. We are aggregating here. Based on resume, you will get your job. Right? Fine. In this application also, what are the things I have to use? User, module. Next. Why? Because there AI also there. Because we are recommending. A dot module. What are the other things? A and the user module. What are the other things we have? Definitely payment will be there. So if you cross that, okay. Any other things? Definitely it have the job module. That is the major thing. Right? So now my job application also I have this kind of modules. So I did based on the domain basics, how my business logic will work. Definitely my job application have the job module. Then I want to recommend the jobs based on your resume, CV, right? Then how can I do that? Yeah, that also there. Then if you want to do some further request, maybe because once you pull the jobs, there you can see the multiple connections. So that means like I will show that application later. So what it will be happen? We pull the source jobs from the multiple source. We will give the connections also. Connection is nothing but who are already working in that company. You can see their list. You can communicate with them. You can get the referral or something. You can get some ideologies, some mentorship. Those things you can get it from them. So everything is aggregated simple place. Okay. So if they have some communications, have some limitation. For example, I'm telling there is no limitation. But example, I'm telling there is a limitation. We have to pay some for premium user. Or you want to go to some standard, you have to pay something. Like that we use the payment module. Then as usual, this is one separate application, so we need a user module. Is that any doubt until now? Okay, fine. Now these two applications belongs to us. Okay, this is my company. I have these two applications. Now I will raise one question. Why I have to create the same modules in my all the project? This is the only two project. Let's take example. I have 5 projects. In the all 5 projects, this is called as a monolithic. Be clear. So my job platform, my training 10x platform. So like that means like my industry pilot. So what we are offering from the training, right? So that is called as an industry pilot. So those kind of platform I have. Then resume pilot also we have. So there also AI will be there. Then payment will be there. Plans will be there. Then we have to track like how your resume module should be there. So those kind of things. Why I should keep this all business module to all the project? Why I have to do? This is the major disadvantage in the monolithic project structure. You have to keep your code to all the project. Why I need that? So instead of that one, now I created the my code base based on the application. Why I don't create based on my modules? Now what I can do, my application grows. So how I can explain? So we started from one application. So initially our code base also only one repository, single repository. We followed a monolithic. After that, we can't able to manage. We have to grow more. So this kind of deadlock we found. So this is the issue. Then we have to fix it. What is the fix? Going to the microservices. Microservices nothing but now this is the one application I created, right? For user model, I will create a separate application. That means that is going to be separate code base, separate service, then payment, then AA, then job module. I can't put any other base because this is a core. We can keep it here only. So rest of these services, AA, payment, this user going to be a separate application. So that going to be separate services. Okay. So that is called as a microservice. Now, if I am doing that one as a separate service, my user module not required, payment module not required, my AA module also not required. Job module is a core for job platform. So I can't remove that one. So these modules created as separate services. Fine. Is that any doubt until now? So for training platform also it will show like AA, course, payment, user, those kind of things also it will show. Okay. Now you guys get the clear idea. You want to able to segregate the modules. It's not only doing the some functionality like based on what it does. Don't do based on that. You have to try to categorize. These are the user kind of thing. These are the payment kind of thing. So these are the my core idea related thing. I have to kept here. This much knowledge definitely you guys should have. So that is a basic. If you are going to the interview also. So first 2 rounds, if they are asking general, then going to a technical. Third round or final round definitely going to give the design. Final is HR. Before that, definitely design interview like a design pattern, like a system design. How you are designing a system. They will give on requirement. You have to design your system properly. That time, if you are designed like a one monolithic application, with that time, if they will give the one more application. How you are going to handle these 2 applications? Like that, they will ask where you want to deploy. So in the cloud. So why you are choosing this cloud provider? What is the benefit we are getting from that? Whatever you are doing, the single things you have to clear in that. So don't do randomly. If I am telling the microservices is good enough, right? So if I am giving the example only, you guys going to accept. Like that, those guys also need to accept. What are things you are telling? You must be clear in that. That is the reason I chose that one. That is the reason I ignored these kind of things. I did some POC, so I don't need that. Clear? Now clear?
Yes, but the code will be going to the same, like job platform and industry pilot. So we remove the AI module and the same module files. So instead of that, we are creating one file and putting the code over there, the logic over there. So entire this 2 platforms code will be going to the same.
Yeah. Why? Because it's same. Now you guys used the resume pilot, right? You signed it. So there is no need to sign up again for the industry pilot. You can use the same sign up, same credential. How you guys did? How? So let's take our real world example. We are using a Google day by day. If you are getting a single email ID, you can access their sheets, their docs. Then plenty of things available, right? So Google Meeting. How many things we can? How these guys did? They created some separate isolate services for the user. That user service all that will handle the entire things, user related login, log out, everything it will take care of it. Your history, which system you are currently in, which session you are like. They will limit some system. You can only log in the 2 or 3 system. How Netflix is doing the same kind of thing because this is their application. If I have 5 applications, I have to keep 5 user module. I can keep one user module. I can search from that. Inside the code base, I can segregate it. This should perform for this application. This should perform for this application. I can segregate. For payment also simple. If you want to do the payment, I don't need to create the payment in all my project. I can create on separate services. That service will take care of all the payment. What payment will do? Definitely will receive the request. How much payment they are going to do? Which provider? Then if I create the session, I will return back to them. They will choose the payment. Done. If they have done that, I can know this is course done by like this payment done for some particular course, or this is done by my job application, or this is done by my resume pilot. Because resume pilot, like from here onwards, will introduce some new thing. Will explain that one. Okay. So like some plants also we are going to introduce. So how the plants going to be, those kind of things. Simple. Okay. Is there any other doubt? So